Now let's begin the conversation. A profound quote by MFK Fisher states, and I quote, "One cannot think well, love well, sleep well if one has not dined well." End of quote. The statement reflects the joy that comes with recent reports. The rice price is crashing in markets across Nigeria. According to reports, at some markets in Lagos, a 50-kilogram bag of rice now sells for between 55,000 naira and 70,000 naira, depending on the brand. Traders and consumers who spoke confirmed that the price of this staple food has seen a notable decline. They explained that both local and foreign rice varieties have experienced a significant drop in price, reversing the sharp increase recorded earlier in the year. All right, gentlemen, no doubt this is good news, especially for households. But I'm curious, what do you think is responsible for this continuous drop in prices?
Normally, in Econs 101, they will tell us it's basically market forces.
Okay.
There are sometimes when supply outstrips demand, prices will go down. And it's also unusual for Nigeria because Nigeria is the only country where the law does not apply. Things that go up normally do not come down. They will find a way to stay within the range of whatever they've grown into. So within that context, I must say this is good news. Don't forget there was a time we were buying a bag of rice for less than 30,000 naira. But those days are gone. And based on the strength of the naira, maybe that will never come back. So to celebrate this amount means that we've now agreed that the optimal price you can pay for a bag of rice is between 50,000 and 70,000, which of course makes sense. Compared to the fact that they've increased salary across the board in most parts of Nigeria, basically to accommodate that reality. So to me, it's always good news when prices fall, especially when it has to do with foodstuff. Because whether you like it or not, this is Nigeria's #1 staple.
Exactly.
Whether we like it or not. As an Ibadan man, of course, I have my own preferences. But you and I know that within the context of the general Nigerian reality, rice, as of today, is the staple for almost every household.
Now, you talked about economics, when supply, outstrips demand. But is this price drop purely a result of record harvest? Or do you think government's intervention in agriculture is starting to, yield results?
Clearly, it's a combination of everything, including what GKB mentioned. The fact that, what every Nigerians want to hear is that what's the price of food in the market?
Sure.
They are sick and tired of the analysis and all the econometrics that we are giving them. They just want to hear that things have gone down. However, it's part of our job to also mention the factors responsible. So when we remember the days of where we bought a bag of rice for 8,000, for 22,000, for 30,000, like he mentioned, the political class will always use that. The rice has moved from so-so-so to so-so-so-so. Forgetting that at that time, the local manufacturers were cut out. Forgetting that the borders were open to everybody to bring in all this foreign rice. So nobody wants to mention all these factors. So it appears that these factors are back and they are playing up. So when we say that it is not really about one leader hates you, people think we are playing politics. So it is a case of the borders have been a bit loose. We are seeing more rice coming in. And we are seeing local manufacturers screaming now. And Nigerians are saying, hey, excuse me, this is good news for us. We don't care how this price crashed. Because even the local rice, I bought the local rice for 59,000 naira. Okay. And in fact, I had to put it on Facebook because sometimes I like to celebrate the good things. This has been me all the while. So for me, that is a factor. Then the harvest that we are into is also a factor. But our traders hardly do this before. They would still maintain that price. In fact, when you are going into December, that's when we see things being more expensive.
Some would even hoard.
So for me, I think in the final analysis, we should celebrate this. we should ask for further crash. The tomatoes now, I go to the market at least maybe once in 2 weeks,
Yeah,
and I
we
see that even the price of tomatoes have dropped.
Yeah.
A lot of things have dropped, and we should not ignore it.
Do you feel
Let's
that
remain positive.
this price drop could be temporary, or?
So that's why I am not much of a what do you call them? Is it futurist now when it comes to economics? But for all I care, I think government is involved, and if government is involved, it's likely to be sustained.
Now, the other side of this, Nigerian farmers, they're counting their losses. That as this price is dropping,
Did they count their gains for us?
As this price is dropping, it is affecting them. But how best do you think the government should handle this dilemma?
Well, if you go into a venture, it's basically for profits. And normally in most countries, they have what they call the markup. Markup does not happen in Nigeria, as you know, based on the revelations by one of these people that went to China. So Nigeria is one of the few countries where markup are not regulated. Because normally, for most part of the country, but because it's free entry and free exit. Farmers will 1 year smile to the bank, and another year, maybe they have challenges. Now, I don't know about Nigeria, but there are some countries, there's a guaranteed price that you can sell your produce. And I know during the whole years, they have it in Western Nigeria. That's why the Western Nigeria Produce Board. Basically, you are guaranteed to sell at X amounts. If the price will drop beyond that threshold, government will pay the difference.
That's true.
Basically, to keep the price affordable
rate.
I don't know whether that's part of the system we're operating now, because I understand purely a capitalistic system where everybody can come in and go. So once the farmers are not going to tell us, on the bumper years, how much they made, they should also not bother us with how much they are losing now.
Because
but if that is on ground, the one I mentioned, then they have no reason to complain.
Because the consumers want the price they want a drop in price, and the farmers also need profit as well. So they need to, the government needs to find a way to balance.
And that's what I just said. Throughout history, and this for the last 100 years,
yes,
whether in the US or elsewhere, governments have the duty to ensure that the cost does not drive away the farmers, but again does not alienate the consumers. So there will always be a middle ground where government will come in.
Because we consumers are more, and our interest counts. You know, I recall
a well-fed populace is a contented populace.
I recall someone using this terminology that it is only in Nigeria that a bag of rice is higher than minimum wage. You know, all those.
All right, just hold that thought. We have Anthony calling in from Kaduna. Anthony, go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon or good evening.
Yes.
This is Anthony from Kaduna.
Go ahead real quick.
In fact, I'm very interested in this, your topic. I think you've discussed it once or twice with Babajide in the studio. But there is something, it is good prices will go down. But there is something Nigeria is doing that is not corresponding with what other foreign nations do. Government subsidize food for people to be able to eat. But the thing here is, we here in the north, how much do we buy fertilizers? That is the reason why the farmers are crying. We buy them at exorbitant rates. Go to the farms, farm after producing, you now calculate how much does it take us to transport those foodstuffs after harvesting into the town. We have to calculate all this. That is why the farmers are crying. So if things are being imported, it is not just going to affect the farmers, but it is also going to affect the economy, because you are opening the borders, importing things that we can produce. Instead of this money being used to subsidize them, to bring in and produce, use it to subsidize what we use in producing our own farm products.
Thank you so much, Anthony. Thank you so much. A very valid point is actually raised. But because of our time, I would have loved, for us to still chew more on this, but because of our time, we need to move straight to our next conversation.